And by the way, kudos to you for the two of you guys getting through the ball game the other night. The two of you.
My two shoulders.
You and Jamie. Where was Clark?
I don't know.
Parenting?
He was parenting. He had real things to do. Both my shoulders are still sore to this day. Between the two games, I think we each had 50 at bats.
Derek, do you ever want to come out and play on our slow pitch team?
Have you seen
we could use the help.
Do anything else? Like what nights?
What
nights? What nights?
Do we know what time this week?
Usually it's Tuesday, Wednesday,
Usually
Thursday.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and doubleheader.
We'll see.
We've been sucking. The poll question, I want to get the exact response. And can you put up the Facebook too, if you don't mind? On Twitter, the Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center poll question: should CFL salaries be made public? 74% of respondents on Twitter say yes, they should be. And I know we were kind of getting to the end of the rollout when I brought that up, so maybe you guys have more thoughts on that. I just want to say Colin McAnulty is watching from Ontario. I think he's in Ottawa. He says, I kind of agree with not publishing when guys are regularly making 10 times down south what they make in the CFL, then it makes the CFL kind of look like a Mickey Mouse league. Not at all. I go through this whole thing, and by the way, we're moments away from Willie Jefferson joining us, but you are what you are.
Yes.
So stop masquerading as something that you're not. These are what the salaries are. Deal with it.
And I got no problem being, the differences in the zeros at the end of the salaries. This is what the CFL is. It becomes relative. Is one receiver making $200,000, another receiver making $100,000, and outperforming the other guy? That's where the fans will get in on it. I don't think anybody's under the misconception that the quarterbacks up here are going to get $30 million a season. Like, that's just not the way it's going to work, and I don't think people are going to make that comparison. There is just that much more money down there. And the talent level, certainly the difference in the talent level between the leagues is not the same as the difference in the salaries. It's just that there's more money down there. The talent level, we've seen guys go down there and they're not 10 times worse than the NFL. So I think fans are savvy enough to figure that out. But when you say it makes it look Mickey Mouse, I take offense. I was just down visiting Mickey Mouse.
And he looks great.
He's the best.
Yeah, I mean, there obviously is some reasons that they don't want to make them public, but I mean, you're a professional sports league and you've got a salary cap, and you just come down to fans want to know, well, why haven't you signed this guy or why haven't you signed that guy? And you might not get those questions if you realize, oh, they're out of money. Oh, he's making too much money, and we'd rather slot other guys in. It's more opportunity to create discussion. It's more opportunities to create those armchair general managers, which seem to be so popular, when it comes to the NFL, the NHL.
There's a million of them in Saskatchewan.
But that's what makes the leagues popular. They may be annoying, but it keeps people more involved. I mean, there's a lot of positives to releasing the salaries.
I think Randy's got to listen to this. I mean, they've changed rules in the league based on fan input. Hey, you got 3/4 of fans responding saying they want this. You are a fan league. It's something I don't think that the brass should just dismiss automatically because it's the way it's always been done. Or what would you like your salary published? A lot of people that out there working, police officers, civil servants, there's a lot of people whose salaries are published. And like you said, virtually every sport does this. Mm-hmm. You're kind of the anomaly. I just don't think it's something that they should, as Rod puts it, three middle-aged white guys on a stage should just brush aside when you see that your fans, who are this league, let's be fair, maybe are wanting something like that. I think you got to look at it.
To the Prairie Mobile text line, by the way, Prairie Mobile, your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer, Irene Ostapowicz in Saskatoon writes in. She says, my salary's published as a nurse practitioner, but I don't care what they make. Just play and make me happy. That from Irene. Now, this is a matter of perspective, and I'll say it again. From my perspective, in my past job, I would have loved to have had it published so people would know what I made. Because when I talk about those three guys on stage, they are well into six figures into what they make. So it's pretty easy for them to say it. I wasn't close to six figures in my role. I wouldn't have cared, right? So it's, again, the matter of perspective. We talk about it all the time. I guess you can see why they don't want it published. And what a rookie American receiver wouldn't want to publish because he's making so little, so his friends back home would laugh at him.
He's playing football,
man.
I
don't really understand where they come from with this.
Yeah,
Do you,
I'm not sure.
by the way,
But have we heard the players? Let's ask Willie. Like, have we heard from the players? Do they specifically not want to? This is three guys who are in leadership roles. I wonder if you put a poll out to the CFLPA, would you be okay with your salaries being published? Where that would end up?
we got 4 players coming on today. We'll put it to all of them.
I'd be
Nelson in
interested.
Regina is watching. He says the CFL's pursuing a video game in partnership with their International Alliance of Gridiron Football Partners. That came out of Randy's road trip on Saturday. And again, it was a fan question. And Randy said they're discussing with their 14 other football playing countries about launching a video game, so they have one set of rules for all of them. And obviously, you guys know that I'm a huge fan of Randy Ambrosi, personally and professionally. There was a whole lot of promises on stage Saturday. Are these guys politicians? You're one, Derek. I'm kind of sitting going, okay, it's time to see some results here. Now, I understand that the ratings are up and all that. I don't think that the CFL, quite frankly, is in bad shape. If you want to talk about the Atlantic Schooners, I could talk about them all day. I get asked pretty much daily, do you think this is going to happen? I have no idea. I'm not getting anything out of the Schooners people or from the CFL head office that's making me believe that it's going to happen. But back to the video game thing. Well, we're in talks and we're doing this, and they've been saying that for years. And Randy is still fairly new in the role.
Yeah.
And we talk about it on this show a lot, probably weekly. He had a massive mess to clean up. Massive. But I think that's cleaned up. Don't you?
And now you can start to move forward and build. And that's a big thing. You got to make sure things are cleaned up. You got to continue to clean up while you're starting to move forward and build and do the things that you want to accomplish in the league. The Halifax thing's interesting. What stands out to me in your comment on it is that people are asking, is it going to happen?
Yeah.
That scares me. When that's the narrative in the fan base is it going to happen? Not will it work? How long will they last? It's a question of, are they even going to happen? And the fact that that's still a big question mark, that concerns me a little bit, that's still the narrative amongst the fans. Same thing with the video game. Is it going to happen? Not how good will it be? When will it launch? What's it going to look like? Are these things even going to happen? And maybe that's a little bit of the history of past commissioners or past regimes not being able to deliver on some of these things that they want to do. And now that's the expectation, is that, okay, wait, you've promised things before the league, let's maybe hold our expectations. And is this actually going to happen? Is Santa actually coming for Christmas this year? I don't know. That concerns me a little bit.
Attendance: Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. I mean, you start there. Like let's literally start cleaning up the house before we start going out and looking at all the nice cars on Rodeo Drive here. I mean, all this regime, quite personally, I keep seeing is CFL 2.0 and international and video games. What about 9,000 people going to a game in Toronto? Atlantic Schooners. How about we fix the attendance problem in Vancouver and start to work there? They got all these grandiose ideas, but I don't see anything concrete when it comes to, and every league has issues. The NFL is down in attendance as well. But I'm not saying this is exclusive to the CFL, but I don't see any work being done in that direction. And maybe there is behind the scenes, but certainly as a fan on the outside, I don't see anything tangible happening to keep more. The Riders had one sellout last year. Maybe we should start taking a look at that before we start worrying about some German kid coming in with a video game. That's just my thought.
Yeah, my mind's racing as you say that, and I like it. And back to that one sellout, it was Labor Day.
Yeah.
And if not for Bomber fans, it might not have been sold out. So that's another way to look at it.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, go ahead, Darren.
Well, yeah, just my counterpoint to that. I think that's really good. But it's kind of a world philosophy. And it's like we spend and think of your life as you're watching this, and think of you guys. We spend so much of our lives worried about 1,000 square feet, right? Mm-hmm. When you think about cleaning up your own backyard, we're worried. We literally get in fights with our partners about, we need new shower curtains, or these couches we need new couches. There's a whole world out there in terms of growing and in terms of expanding and in terms of building that we spend so much time with the blinders on. only focused on 1,000 square feet of our life. And you don't want the CFL to be worried about that, but at the same time, you do have to make sure that the house isn't, leaking and water's not coming in. So you have to have both in mind at the same time.
And that's why I'm kind of just sitting back and watching this from the periphery. I know a lot of presidents and CEOs, and they all talk that way. Dream big. We have a president in America that talks, you got to dream anyway, so dream big. Yeah. Global's big. But I also spend more of my time around the coaches and life coaches and recovery coaches that are in that end of things. Rick Campbell saying it. If you look too far down the road, you're going to trip tunk on what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
So I say there's room for two ways to look at it. I mean, my bracelet that says one day at a time broke in Mexico because I kept taking it off, and I was actually upset because so many people that I had just met were saying to me, "Where do you see your life going, Rod? Where do you see your life going?" I get that all the time, and it kind of drives me crazy. And I literally look down and go, one day at a time. I'm having a pretty good day right now. That's what I know. Yeah. And you stack up enough good days, life's amazing.
Yep.
That's where I'm at right now. But if everybody wants to talk about the future and vision, we need those people too.
Sure,
we need those people too.
And Darren's one of those guys in life, and I envy him for it because I'm not that guy all the time. But Darren is very much.
That's why we work well together.
My only thing is that 30 to 35% of league revenue is asses in seats, and that has to be your number one. Not the TSN contract, which is great, which is fabulous, and it's money. Not as growing the game internationally, but if you get a charter plane from Germany to come over to the games, great. Bums in seats is your number one priority in this league.
Willie Jefferson has logged in and we're told is ready to go. Hang on, Willie. We're going to take a break and be right back. The CFL's reigning Defensive Player of the Year is coming up next. It's a Monday morning. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.